Welcome back to Project 94 for another diecast review here on the channel, and today we are back with another 2023 diecast from the 2023 season, and of course it's got to be one of the most anticipated diecasts for me to review because of the sponsor. It is Christopher Bell's 2023 Dewalt Toyota Camry TRD for Joe Gibbs Racing. A very cool paint scheme for the 2023 season for Christopher Bell. And of course, you know, I love Dewalt. It's one of the other sponsors that I love in NASCAR. Mostly because of its color combination of black and yellow. Always one of my favorite diecasts to review every single year. Dewalt has been, of course, a long-time sponsor of NASCAR. So it's really, really cool to see them go at another year of the Joe Gibbs Racing sponsorship with their star driver, Christopher Bell. So without further ado, let's get this diecast out of the box and ready to review. Of course, all the 2023 boxes are the same. So without further ado, let's get this diecast out of the box, and here it is. The Christopher Bell 2023 DeWalt Toyota Camry TRD for Joe Gibbs Racing. So without further ado, let's get this diecast review on. In the front, you have number 20, Joe Gibbs Racing, and a very weird, wonky looking Toyota Camry front end of this car right here. You have DeWalt, you have the air vents, the hood vents of the Toyota, which look pretty cool. Honestly, with the DeWalt logo, the hood vents aren't too intrusive, but it does cut off a bit of the E and the L. So that does look a bit funny, but don't worry guys, not a defect. That's how the hood vents make these cars look on the hood. So you have Toyota, Bell, you have Sunoco, Goodyear, NASCAR Cup Series, the 75th anniversary logo for NASCAR. You have the yellow Goodyears with the black Goodyears on the wheel well. You got the chrome number 20, which we'll get a closer look at that chrome number later in the review. You have Christopher Bell. You have Toyota, JD Gibbs. You have DeWalt. And of course, Christopher Bell's myriad of contingencies. You have Rheem, Mac Tools, Sports Clips, Doosan, Mobil 1, Siemens, Stratasys, Sherwin-Williams, and Lincoln Welders. You have Interstate Batteries over the fake quarter window decals. You have Yahoo right there. On the back, you have Toyota Camry, DeWalt, TRD. You have the red box Toyota logo and the number 20. And the DeWalt logo looks pretty cool in the middle, right where the license plate would go on a street Camry. And of course, DeWalt on the deck lid. You have Bell. Was there a rear view camera on this? No, no rear view camera. You got Bell and Guaranteed Tough. Cool to have the slogan right on the roof. And now for the paint scheme itself. It's painted that iconic, that classic DeWalt yellow, which on camera looks brighter than what it really is. Off camera, it's more of like a cheddar cheese type of yellow. It's not a super bright yellow color. It's bright, but it's not that bright. It kind of has like an orangey yellow look to it, but it's still bright enough to be yellow. But on camera, it's not picking up the color as great. It's making it look a lot more brighter than what this car truly is. Of course, you have the dark gray wheel colors. And of course, the yellow, which is the base coat that they spray painted it. And of course, I'm getting a message in the middle of the video once more. Just like the last diecast review that I did. Shout out once again to Simon Toyota Sports. So for the numbers on this car, you have the shadow black outline, you have the yellow outline, and the white number fill-in on the roof, which the black shadow of the number 20 blends in with the spike that's poking through it on the roof. Really, really cool to see that. And of course, on the doors of this car, you have the black outline, a thin yellow outline, just like on the roof, a white outline, which is an additional outline, with the chrome number fill-in. And yes, that is the chrome foil number that they do charge a little bit extra for in some cases. But there's the chrome number on the door. It messes with the camera. I adjusted the camera lighting before I did this video, knowing that this car had chrome numbers, so that it could pick it up on camera a lot better. And even then, the camera kind of struggles to pick it up, but it is a chrome foil number. Of course, you get Biofuel logo right there over the taillight. And now for the paint scheme itself, you have a black splitter and a black spoiler with the pop rivets. And on the front here, it's going to have a black stripe. The upper portion of the front nose, the front bumper, is going to be yellow. And the lower portion is going to be black. You can see where the black starts. right underneath the middle parts of the headlights. And of course, wrapping around the side OEM details, the front corners, those two fake air vents, are going to be a gray outline, which is in a similar shape to what the front vents are, with some very subtle gradient faded gray stripes on there, which makes it look really sharp looking at it from the front. As you guys can tell, the gray gradient stripes right behind or over the silver, like the fake silver. It's not like a real metallic silver, it's like a light gray with some dark gray shadowy stripes on it, which make it look pretty sharp. And of course, you're going to have some of the black spike into that design as well. Let's see if I can zoom in on certain details of this paint scheme. There seems to be a lot going on with this one. Yeah, right there, it spikes into it. Really, really cool. And now for the side of the paint scheme, of course, that black stripe is going to spike once more. Another little spike there. Jesus. And of course, it goes right through the wheel well, pokes out the other side. The NASCAR Cup Series logo is all folded right there. That's just great. Of course, you have the gray, little bit of a gray stripe right there. And of course, it pokes out again. A bit of the yellow pokes into it with that little triangle right there. And you have the black right behind. The black is pretty much going to cover the whole side portion of this car. This black stripe goes up to the middle right there, stops. The rest of it's going to be yellow. The shadow of the number 20 blends in with the black. Of course, got the gray stripe poking out through there. And of course, a bit of the black spiking up through the top of the number right there. Just like on this side, it's going to poke over the 0 on this side and poke over the 2 on this side, on the left. And of course, this really sharp black and gray pattern continues across the side. But over the side skirts of the Toyota Camry TRD, the dark gray stripes with the silver outline stripe returns. It's the same kind of design they had from the front right here. But looking at it from the sides, it's long and stretched out. And it has some spikiness to the top of it. And it kind of takes the shape pretty nicely. Of course, it goes up and slants down and continues through the side skirt right there. Really, really cool to see that detail. And onto the rear quarters of this car, the light gray is going to fade out through, or not fade through, it's going to spike through the wheel well right there, and it's going to come right onto the quarter panel. And that is where you're going to have some more spiky details to it. It's going to spike back up, and it's going to show up on the bumper of this car with the really light gradient dark gray stripes, and it's going to spike back into the decal diffuser, not the real diffuser, but the Toyota diffuser that's on the street car. It's going to poke back in, which looks really cool. Kind of has like a half of a trapezoid look to it. And wrapping on the whole quarter panel just about, besides that part of yellow right there, it's going to have black, whereas Yahoo, that's a black rear quarter panel. And on the hips of the car, you have really sharp shards, almost like sharp as glass in black, with a gray stripe. And there's 2 spikes, 3, 4 actually. Wow, you get the short spike right there. It's thick. Got the middle stripe right there. That one's also thick with the gray stripe. And of course, a really, really thin spike right there. And another shard. It's over the hips of the car, so when you look at it from the side, you won't see it, but when you look at it from the top, you will see that shard sticking out. So the hips are pretty much covered in these sharp gray and black shards, which looks really, really nice. And looking at the back of this thing, the 20 covers up the spike that's on this side right here, but you got a bit of a yellow stripe going through there. Bottom portion of the bumper is black. The trunk line is covered in black. Right underneath the spoiler. It pretty much blends in with the spoiler at that point. All yellow deck lid. And of course, black roof rails, which match pretty nicely. You're going to have some stripes that make it look thick in the first portion of it. Then, of course, you got 2 more little spikes. Like, it's kind of hard to see, but there's one right there on top of that roof flap, and then one right there on the other. Of course, you're going to have a black, like, triangle, but it's super, super thick. So it covers up the Guaranteed Tough logo and pokes right through the number 20 underneath, and the outline of it matches pretty nice. It blends in. And that is the highly detailed Dewalt paint scheme. So not only is the paint scheme highly detailed, but it's got chrome numbers and the dark gray wheels. Definitely one of the more eventful looking, and I mean eventful in that it's got a lot going on with it, Christopher Bell diecasts. It's a super cool paint scheme. Wow. And of course, some of the black even wraps over the final pillar of the roof, towards the back pillars of the roof. I mean, look at that. Some of it's yellow, but some of it's black, but the black is actually wrapped on there, as you can see. Makes it look like a black stripe. Really, really cool diecast this one is. I gotta say, for Dewalt, this is definitely one of their better paint schemes. Last year was a nice scheme, but I gotta say this one is also pretty nice. Every year I love looking at this car. Let's get some close-ups of this since there's a lot going on with this scheme. So here's the front of the diecast. Here's the hood. Here's the right side, which we're gonna show really closely. Man, this looks like a super sharp race car. I know I keep saying it, but man, this thing looks mean. This is a really awesome looking DeWalt car. I love these paint schemes so much. It's a shame this wasn't the scheme they ran at the Daytona 500. They actually ran that mix of sponsors at the Daytona 500, but I like this one just a lot more. Just having more yellow on the car this year definitely helps. Okay, now the yellow looks proper on camera, but you still got to get the real diecast to see the actual color of it. But I'm giving you that heads up in advance of how the yellow actually looks. And here's the underbody of this car. And that right there is going to be the 2023 Christopher Bell DeWalt diecast for Joe Gibbs Racing. Thank you all for checking out this diecast review. Comment, like, and subscribe. And if you guys are curious, yes, this is the second time I'm recording this video. The first time I recorded it, it did not go well. There's a lot of stuff going on. The camera fell and all that stuff. So I decided to review it a second time. So I've had plenty of time to look at this paint scheme and eyeball all of its details. And my impressions of it have not changed one bit since the first time I reviewed this car. It is a spectacular diecast every single year. I literally get flashbacks. I'm literally getting flashbacks of reviewing this car last year in the studio, back when I was a part of the 9446 network. Man, this is a really cool diecast. Every year I love reviewing this car. It's one of my favorites. Hopefully DeWalt and the Stanley Black & Decker brand is in this for the long haul, because their paint schemes are spectacular. So yeah, guys, that's it for this diecast review. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next diecast review. And always remember to make sure you know what you're doing when you're putting decals on your diecast.